Okay, Springfield Armory XD-40, something relatively new to me. You may have seen my tailgate review of this gun. I actually won this gun at an IDPA match, so it makes it all the more pleasant. I really like this gun, and I haven't shot it a whole lot yet, but I've put a couple hundred rounds through it, and I really enjoy shooting it. The one thing I don't enjoy that much about it is the grip panels. The grip panels are, pretty smooth for my taste. I like a little bit of grippiness and grit to my grips. So, if you want to add grippiness and grit to your grips, say that 10 times fast, you use a Talon grip. And because I really intend for this to be a range gun more so than a carry gun, I'm going to use the granulate. The granulate to me is the maximum grip. This is this is excellent. You take this out in the middle of summer with hot, humid, sweaty hands, and you still have an amazing grip on the pistol when you have these granulate grips. So any gun that's going to be primarily either a match gun or a range gun, I really like to use the granulate. So I'm going to put that on. Now this is a little different than a lot of the others in that this is a rear. This starts at the back, and you kind of wrap it around both sides from the back. And I always like to do my dry fit, especially when I've not done that particular design in the past. So first let's get the gun ready, because we don't need a magazine and we don't need the slide. So we're going to dispense with the parts we don't need. I'm going to wipe that oil off of there. So I'm going to clean the oil off of places where I may contact it. All right. Do that. Then I'm going to do a dry fit. I like to do a dry fit, especially the first time I've done a particular type of application, and I have not put a Talon grip on an XD before, so it's a little different. Okay, so we want to line up this panel, I presume, right about there, probably to the edge of that. Then, and I'm going to want to be right down at the bottom. But I think that's probably going to tuck a little bit. So that's going to be my plan. Okay, so now step one was removing the slide and the magazine. Just so we're, for those of you keeping track of what step we're on, because I'll just keep saying step this and step that with no apparent explanation. So step 2 is prepare the substrate. So we've got our substrate clean. I'm going to remove the backing in pieces and sections on this. I'm going to start obviously with my, you pretty much always, even if this one wraps around the back as opposed to wrapping around the front, but you almost always start with that left grip panel when you're putting a Talon grip on. That is the rule of thumb. So I'll get this started, and I'm going to go to about halfway around the back strap and cut that. All right, so that gives me plenty to work with, but also I've got a lot of it protected where it doesn't need to be exposed quite yet. So I'm going to start right there to that very edge and pretty much right down to the bottom of the frame. All right. And getting that lined up evenly with the line of the grip panel is important, because that's going to give us the angle, and as we wrap around, that angle will continue to be important So I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of this backing. And let's wrap this around. I typically just press it lightly to hold it in place because we're going to come back and firm everything up in a bit. But again, we want this pretty well evenly at the back there. You see, we're not as far forward as I think we ought to be. But I also don't see, yeah, it could be an angle. There we go. Could be the angle. Now this guy, this is where it gets interesting. All right. Man, that is close. That is really, really close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift. I'm going to lift this panel here a little bit. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. And put this, lift that and put this underneath. It's just barely going to overlap. Barely, barely, barely. I would almost be tempted to try and cut it and make a perfect butt joint, except that usually doesn't work out too good for me, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, but I think if we get that properly squished, it's going to be good. Put our scissors away, we're done with that. All right, let's heat it up. Okay, nice and warm and pliable. So now we do our squishing. Squish it down into the texture of the grip. Get as good a bond as we possibly can with the adhesive on the polymer. It's not a perfect job. I'm a little off. I could have started a little further back with my left panel, but all in all, not bad. I'm not going to be able to see that when I'm shooting the gun. And this seam looks like it should be okay. It's not overlapped very much, just barely. So we'll see over time if that wants to start to lift and peel a little bit right there. But anyway, this gun isn't going to probably get tons and tons of reps. It's not like I'm going to be drawing this thing out of a holster and shooting it in matches and things like that. So as a range toy, which is what this is right now intended to be, that's probably going to be just fine. So there we go. Mission accomplished. All right, there it is. We have officially gotten a grip